Pharmacist Ben.
Hello, AJ. Hey, how come we don't have a cool theme song for Pharmacist Ben's Academy? Why don't you do your magic? You'll do your magic and let's get us a theme song, man.
We will work on that.
All right.
I can't be derelict in my duties. We will get us a theme song.
You've been slacking off. Are you working at all? You just slacking off, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
You're rubbing on me, man. Making me too doggone busy.
Damn, man, you are one lazy AJ. You don't do anything, do you? No, I don't want anybody to think. I hope nobody misconstrues my sense of humor. This guy is the hardest working man in show business. He is exactly. He's the most unlazy person. AJ.
That must be Becca that said that.
No, it's true. It's true. I'm totally teasing.
It's good to have friends, and otherwise we probably. And Bruce, my man Bruce is on.
Bruce is always on our calls. Love Bruce.
Bruce, you could set your clock by Bruce.
Bruce is loyal, man. I love that.
You could certainly set he is a fantastic guy. Pharmacist Ben, we got tons of questions tonight.
All right.
To address.
Probably from our call yesterday, our Zoom call yesterday.
Well, that preceded the call. We have other questions that have come in, but we've not addressed.
Okay.
But the title of tonight's show is Pharmacist Ben gives answers at pharmacistbensacademy.com.
I like that.
And the fact of the matter is,
I don't get to give complete answers on these shows. I got to race through them. I don't get to talk to everybody. Pharmacist Ben's Academy, it's my opportunity to take a deep dive into people's questions. And I know people have questions, and I always feel guilty rushing through them. Pharmacist Ben's Academy is the place to be.
Yeah, it is a fantastic forum because, at your own leisure, you can answer people's questions right there.
Correct.
On the screen and bring insights to people. And we will be adding the voluminous amount of videos that you've done over the years about certain topics. You've talked about tinnitus. You've talked about PCOS. You've talked about tons of different topics in short format with Jonty and in your what did you call them when you were just on YouTube back
with the stuff I did with Jonty?
Jonty, and even the ones separately, where it's just you. What do you
I don't think I called them anything, but I had the radio show, The Bright Side, for a long time till GCN went out of business.
Okay,
but I don't think I called them anything, did I?
Moment of Truth.
Oh, the Moments of Truth. That's right. No, that was this little kind of project I did. I had this idea. I was traveling. I was in my hotel room. I was like, I'm going to just do 3-minute videos every single day for a year. And I did them 5 days a week. I did them 5 days a week for a year. I did a 3-minute video, and they were kind of a pain to do because I had to, the set and everything. I had to wear a different shirt every day, and I only had so many shirts.
We know.
It was really hard to do. But I did it for a year, and there's probably about 300 of these things, these Moment of Truth videos, and they're valuable. They're valuable.
They're extremely valuable.
Yeah,
they're good. We're going to upload every single one of them into Pharmacist Ben's Academy, categorized so that people.
What's scary about them though? That was before COVID. I think I did it. I think in 2019, 2020, and I can't believe how much older I look. I was like a kid back then. Holy cow!
We all get older.
I know. Well, when you're on video, you got a record of it. It's real. There's some videos of me from 15 years ago. I'm like, what happened to that guy? Holy moly! That guy, that was a stud. Now an old man.
Not an old man. You
don't get a lot of time here, AJ. I did a thing today. I want to see how many weeks. I figure I'm going to make it to 95. That's my thinking. That's only 15,000 weeks. I have 15,000 weeks to go.
Pharmacist Ben, we got to, you're saying 95.
I'm guessing 95.
I'm thinking, based on what what I know about you. You might be pushing 111,
I know, but you know, did you ever
119.
see? Did you ever see that movie Death Becomes Her?
No.
All right, so it's a movie where Goldie Hawn, Meryl Streep, and I forgot who the third person was. Three ladies. They find this magical substance that allows them to live to be like 200 years old, but they still age. So they're 200 years old, but they look 200 years old, and that ain't good. So I'm good exiting the stage at 95 and still looking good.
Pharmacist Ben, what is the rate limiter for connective tissue production?
The rate limiting nutrient?
Yeah.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Becca, we have a video. Can we just put that on real quick? I'd like
What are you
Pharmacist
going?
Ben
Are
to
you putting me on
analyze.
the spot here? Are you going to put me on the spot?
Well, no. If I would put you on the spot, I'd be talking about the GLP-1 thing that I watched yesterday, which we don't even want to go there.
Yeah, I wrote a couple blog posts on GLP-1s on Pharmacist Ben's Academy, by the way. GLP-1.
Becca, can you put that video on? Thank you very much. This video, we just want to listen to Dr. Wallach for a second.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Let's go.
Dr. Wallach's pig arthritis formula. Well, Harvard Medical School has laid in the bushes for me for 25 years, and they said, we have finally found a way to prove that Wallach is a quack and a fraud and a charlatan, because everybody knows you can't regrow cartilage bone. And they took what they thought was the most ridiculous 1/3 of Dr. Wallach's pig arthritis formula, and they gave it to 29 patients who had failed to respond in any way to heroic medical treatment for arthritis over 15 to 20 years. They took them off all their medication, wasn't doing them any good anyway, and the only thing left for them medically was joint replacement surgery. And they gave them a heaping tablespoonful of ground up chicken cartilage and orange juice every morning for 90 days, just 3 short months. And here's what happened. After 10 days, they had complete relief of pain and inflammation, something they hadn't had in 15 to 20 years. In 30 days, they could now open up a new pickle jar that never had been opened without pain to the fingers, wrist, elbows, and shoulder. And in 90 days, just 3 months, according to Harvard Medical School, not me, 28 of the 29 were clinically cured. Now, you'd think they'd call me up and say, Wallach, we got to apologize to you. That's not what happened. After 3 months, it was clear that the drug was beneficial, unquote. Chicken cartilage had become a drug in 90 days. So I came up.
God bless Dr. Wallach, man. He's right on. You know, before he was the mineral doctor, he was the connective tissue doctor.
Yeah.
He's right on, 100%. 100%. Cartilage is amazing, amazing stuff. That's why I've been talking about bone broth for so long and bone broth protein. You're just eating cartilage. But what's your point about vitamin C?
Well, just that they used orange juice.
Yeah, that's right.
They added it in the orange juice.
That's right. That's right.
They not added it in the orange juice.
Well,
you know, crack.
No, because you're always going to get a little vitamin C. Nobody gets zero vitamin C. So you're always going to get a little vitamin C. And there's not a lot of vitamin C in oranges. That's kind of a myth.
Is it?
Especially if it's pasteurized, especially if it's heated, which most of it is. So an orange may have maybe 30 milligrams of vitamin C, which is not a lot. And so orange juice has vitamin C in it, but you're not going to get a lot of vitamin C, but there's probably some. But the cartilage is amazing, absolutely amazing. Everybody should be doing cartilage every day. The problem is the organic thing is you're going to get, these days it's hard to get quality cartilage, but cartilage is amazing stuff, and it's found in the parts of the animal that nobody wants to eat, the snouts and the hooves and the tails. That's where you get the cartilage. So the ground up cartilage, and also on the chicken bone, the knobby part, the white part, that's the cartilage. So most people don't eat the cartilage, but man, that's amazing, amazing stuff. Not just, by the way, not just for the connective tissue, but for the immune system. It's also very important for folks dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disease, the pig pack. And I don't know if Doc mentions that on that video. By the way, doesn't Doc look good there? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? That's when I met him. That's when I met Doc. He was a ball of fire, man. He was a spitfire.
He is a spitfire. Still to this day, when you mention organic, one thing I do want to mention about the longevity collagen is the fact that they and to the dismay of some of my cattle farmer clients in America, longevity gets its bovine and other cartilage for the collagen peptides from Argentina, where it's illegal to utilize any sort of
Brazil also. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They have clean. They take their cattle very seriously. We do things in this country with glyphosate and with pesticides, and all kinds of stuff that just it's unconscionable in other countries, and that's too bad. And by the way, I said talking about oranges, maybe 30 milligrams or so of vitamin C. What food source has the most vitamin C? Natural food source.
Spinach.
No, there is vitamin C in spinach though.
What food source? Kiwi.
Kiwi's good. Kiwi's good, but no.
Mary saying bell peppers.
Close. Chili peppers.
Chili peppers.
Chili peppers.
Really? What do you think that is?
Why they have a lot of vitamin?
Heat?
Why would chili peppers have a lot of vitamin C? I'm not sure why that would be. Not sure why. Papaya has a lot of vitamin C in it. Kiwi, like you said. Way more. You know, citrus gets vitamin C the C stands for citrus because it was first discovered in citrus, but that's not the best source of vitamin C, even though there is vitamin C in citrus. But green leafies are also a good source of vitamin C.
So, Pharmacist Ben, back to your comment a little earlier. Elizabeth on Facebook says that you're a stud now, and once a stud, always a stud. And Death Becomes Her is one of her favorite movies.
What was? Death Becomes Her. Yeah, that's a great movie. Who said that? Elizabeth?
Elizabeth on Facebook.
Hi, Elizabeth. I don't think have we met Elizabeth? I don't know if I met Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth is.
Elizabeth.
Now, I have some questions here. George wrote in and asked, what can I do to manage this issue at 79 years old, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis?
Ooh. First of all, what does the word idiopathic mean?
It means
your doctor's an idiot. No. That's a terrible thing to say, and I never want to be on record for knocking on doctors. I love my doctor friends. Love my doctor friends. It's the model that's the problem. Yeah, so what does idiopathic mean, though? Seriously, I was joking about that.
Well, I mean, in some way, it means we don't know how it's.
We don't know. But what's fibrosis? Pulmonary means a lung. Pulmonary means a lung. So what happens? What does fibrosis really mean? What is the fibrotic condition indicative of?
It means that the tissue is scarred, or the tissue is.
It's a response to injury. It's a response to injury. So what you're dealing with fibrosis, whether it's in the kidneys or whether it's in the liver or whether it's in the nervous system or whether it's in the lungs or whether it's in the skin, you're dealing with chronic injury over and over and over again. So idiopathic is silly because I just told you what the reason is. You've got chronic injury. There's nothing idiopathic about it. It's injury over and over and over again. So what do? Well, you're not going to repair the fibrosis. That's not going to happen. That's a scar. What you want to do is you want to prevent further fibrosis. You know, we talked not earlier, but I think like earlier this year maybe about amyloidosis, right? Remember we talked about that transerythropoietin cardiomyopathy, amyloidosis, that whole gibberish diagnosis. Amyloidosis is the same idea. The body has these repair mechanisms, and the repair mechanisms themselves can be a problem. Fibrosis is when the tissue becomes stiff and fibrotic. You want to be loosey-goosey. You want everything loosey-goosey in the body, not stiff and fibrotic. You want the blood vessels, and blood vessels, by the way, become fibrotic too with age. You want the blood vessels loosey-goosey. You want the connective tissue loosey-goosey. You want to be able to move and flow and fluctuate. Once you become fibrotic, you become like an old. This is what old people are like. This is what the most distinguishing visible feature of elderly people is. They're stiff and fibrotic. That is a response to injury, chronic injury. Once you've got the fibrosis, it's not going to reverse itself. However, what you can do is you can prevent further fibrosis. You want to prevent the tumbling out of control of the fibrotic condition. And that means everything we're talking about. Basically, we want to be mushy and wet. There's even a term for it. It's called wetware. You know how you have software, firmware, hardware, and computers? You want your body to be wetware. It has to be loose and watery. When we age, we dry out. I was kidding my mom because my mom doesn't like to drink water. So I'm always teasing her. I'm like, Mom, you want to be a grape or you want to be a raisin? You want to be a plum or you want to be a prune? You want to be moist and wet. That's what's associated with youthfulness. You know, I did a talk on for Raymond and Yolanda Brown on Fucoid, on the FucoidZ.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, surprise, surprise, right? So I was saying, why is it that FucoidZ has so many benefits? In biochemistry, we refer to multifunctionality we call pleiotropy. When something's pleiotropic, it has lots of benefits or lots of effects. In nutrition, lots of benefits, right? So why is the FucoidZ good for your skin, good for your heart, good for your digestive system, good for your liver, good for your immune system, good for your brain, good for your blood sugar, good for your cholesterol? I mean, it's endless. People are talking about it for cancer, but it's good for everything. What accounts for this simple little molecule to have, what accounts for its pleiotropic multifunctional benefits that are good for everything? Why would that be? Why would one simple little molecule have all of those benefits? Do you ever wonder about that? Maybe not, but now that I bring it up, do you wonder about it? Do you think about it?
Well, you've mentioned because it's a polysaccharide.
So what is it about polysaccharides?
Well, I don't know exactly why, but you know, just the word poly indicates to me the word many, and then
that just means it has a lot. You're digging.
I understand what you're saying. However, just the varied nature of it seems to me that it could have many applications.
No. Poly just means it has a lot of units, so a lot of sugar units associated with it.
Okay.
So that's all that means.
But it's not varied sugar units.
No. Well, there are different sugar units, but poly means many sugar units, many building blocks. But that's not the point. Okay. So here's the thing. But isn't that interesting? Before I tell you why, isn't that interesting that you have this simple little molecule, very modest. It's just a chain of sugars, right? That's all is sugar.
Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me because there are things that you talk about, like vitamin A, vitamin C.
There's no vitamin A. There's nothing to do with vitamin A.
Understood, but just it doesn't surprise
Vitamin A is
me.
active. Vitamin A is an active molecule. You can't take too much vitamin A. It's too active. Vitamin C is an active molecule. Polysaccharides are inert. They don't really participate in chemistry. You know, you could swallow a zillion FucoidZ capsules. It's just an inert sugar. It's like seaweed. There's nothing really medically active about the molecule, but yet it has all of these benefits. The reason is that polysaccharides, do you want to know? You don't look like you care.
I care.
You don't really. I'm not going to forget it. Let's go. Next question. Come on.
Come on, man.
You don't really. Nobody really cares. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants. Next question.
We all care.
Okay. Here's the reason. Polysaccharides absorb water. When the body is unhealthy and sick and old, it's dry. What polysaccharides do is they contribute moisture. They suck up water. So they hydrate things. They hydrate cells. They hydrate tissues. Chemistry proceeds more efficiently in a hydrated milieu. So all the chemistry benefits from Fucoid because it's a hydrating molecule. It has these little tags on it. The polysaccharides have these little electrical tags on it called sulfate. And these, you've heard of sulfate, like glucosamine sulfate, chondroitin sulfate, fucoidin sulfate. These sulfates tie up water. And so they hydrate things. And they contribute this water ability, hydrating ability to tissues and to cells that makes all chemistry, proceed more efficiently. It facilitates biochemistry by virtue of its ability to hydrate because of those sulfate molecules. It structures things, it organizes things, it allows enzymes to work more efficiently and biochemicals to work more efficiently, globally, systemically, head to toe, and because it's pulling in water, that's the only way it's working. It's not working biochemically, it's not modifying chemical reactions, it's completely non-toxic. So you get this pleiotropic, multifunctional molecule. It's good for everything, and it's completely non-toxic. I did a thing with the Browns on the triangle of disease, and I talked about how Fucoid is important for each point on the triangle of disease. Did you know Fucoid acts like a mild laxative? It'll help you with your bowel movements. It helps facilitate, it helps improve the health of the microbiome. Acts as a prebiotic. It helps improve the health of the intestinal lining structurally and mucosally. Improves mucus secretion. There has to be mucus in the intestinal lining to protect it, and it improves the structure of the intestinal lining. Moving on to the second point of the triangle disease, it helps stabilize blood sugar. It helps improve the way the body processes sugar at the intestinal level and at the cell level. And it's important for the adrenal glands. It acts like an anti-inflammatory. It helps lower cortisol, and it works at the level of the thyroid. It contributes iodine. It's fucoidin in this non-toxic fashion that supports every single biochemical reaction, works at every point on the triangle of disease. It is the most important non-essential nutrient. The essential nutrients are the most important, but fucoidin is the most important non-essential nutrient you could ever take. And interestingly, there's another carbohydrate that's similar called beta-glucan. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Beta-glucan, the Restart Your Life, has many of the same benefits as fucoidin, again, because it's this long sulfated polysaccharide. And so, I was going to tell you one more thing about and then fucoidin also is very similar to polysaccharides that are already in the body. So they're familiar. It has a familiarity. It's almost like an analog of polysaccharides that are already in the system. So to me, that stuff is just miraculous. And by the way, we did our talk on histamine yesterday. By the way, pharmacists, if you go to Pharmacist Ben's Academy, I know we plugged it already a couple of times. We do Zoom calls every week, or we've been doing them every week. I don't know if we can continue, but we're going to do them very regularly. We did one yesterday on histamine, which is a very, very misunderstood molecule and responsible for a lot of health misery, especially for women. It's associated with hot flashes, night sweats, endometriosis, fibromyalgia, dysmenorrhea, problems with your menstrual cycle. It's just a real terrible molecule. Well, I don't say terrible, but it's associated with a lot of terrible things. Fucoidin is an incredible antihistamine on top of everything else. Isn't that amazing? FucoidZ. God bless Raymond and Yolanda for bringing that to the table.
Yes, we thank them. But Pharmacist Ben, you talked about something I need to push back on.
Oh no, don't be pushing back.
I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you.
I don't do pushback. I don't handle pushback.
I know you are a dictator. However, but so as far as pulmonary scarring not being resolved, we have Yvonne Ray, she is one of us, and I've mentioned her before. You may have heard of her before.
I think I remember you talking about her.
She uses electronic devices in conjunction with the 90 and the FucoidZ, etc., to break up scar tissue, even in the lungs, and microcurrent. Thank you, Becca. Microcurrent
to break up scar tissue.
To break up scar tissue, and restore the tissue's malleability.
Well, far be it from me to contradict Yvonne Ray or you or anybody else. If she says she can do it, more power to her. Scars are scars. The definition of a scar is permanency. That's the definition of a scar. So literally, by definition, if something's a scar, it's permanent. That's the definition of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you look in the dictionary, that's the definition of a scar. So if it's a scar, it's permanent. So you don't reverse something that's permanent unless it's not a scar. Maybe it's not a scar then. But as far as I know, fibrosis is scar tissue.
I mean,
if it's a scar, it's a scar.
It's a scar, but at the same time, we just watched a video where the doctor said that there's no possible way you can regrow cartilage, right? So,
well, no, it's not that there's no possible way. It's very difficult to, because it's avascular. Cartilage doesn't have blood. There's no blood vessels. In order to heal something, you got to have nutrient delivery. Without blood vessels, it's hard to deliver nutrients and oxygen. So cartilage is difficult to rebuild, but that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Well, what Mary's mentioning, because Mary actually took her class, it enables the electrical current to go through this scar tissue.
They burn the scar tissue essentially, and then healthy tissue regrows. Is that what they're saying?
Not burns the scar tissue, but
electrocutes it. It essentially cauterizes it. It's a burn.
Listen, I don't want to describe that. It doesn't sound like
a burn. Doesn't sound good, but that's what's happened. I mean, it's destroying the scar tissue. On some level. It's breaking up the scar
I would
tissue.
say it's restoring the scar tissue.
Well, you don't restore scar tissue; you break it up.
Break up the scar tissue is the
So
word.
new tissue rebuilds it. Neutralize is not the right. Somebody's saying neutralize. Neutralize is an acid-base reaction. That's different. That's a different thing. So what I'm hearing you say, and maybe I'm wrong, but what it sounds like to me is the electricity disturbs, breaks up, burns, whatever word you want to use, the scar tissue, so new healthy tissue can grow.
New healthy tissue can grow, and the current bad tissue signals can now pass through it.
Signals can pass through the bad tissue.
Electricity can now pass through the scar tissue.
Well, apparently from what you're saying, maybe I'm wrong, I'm misunderstanding, but it sounds to me like you're saying the scar tissue goes away and new tissue replaces it.
Eventually, but in the short term, because she's getting immediate results, this scar tissue is...
Somebody's talking gibberish. I see gibberish on here. Deep field penetration, standard traverse way. That's just gibberish.
We're gonna move on,
okay,
because Yvonne's not here.
Yeah, so, I would love to hear. Yeah, get Yvonne on. I'd love to hear it. It sounds intriguing. I'm not dismissing it. It definitely sounds interesting.
Now, I'm just gonna
we got to be careful about talking gibberish here, because there's a lot in this business that we're in. There's a lot of gibberish. What we want to do is we want to be talking in a way that everybody understands. So scar tissue, as I see it, and I'm totally open to hearing about it, and I'd love to talk to this woman, is permanent. I can see kind of how electricity would burn through the scar tissue and then new tissue would replace it. That makes sense to me. You follow? So I can see that happening. But that depends on the new tissue replacing it. If you have chronic injury, right, and that's where fibrosis comes from, is chronic injury, and you burn through the scar tissue and you haven't corrected the chronic injury, you're just going to get more scar. You're just going to get more scar tissue. You follow? It's the injury that we want to be careful of, and the nutritional deficiency. You follow what I'm saying?
I do follow what you're saying, and the next question is...
And by the way, scars are a sign that the body is replacing things the best way it knows how. But ordinarily, when you have an injury, you shouldn't have a scar. Like when I cut myself, it should heal without a scar. If a scar does form, that is not necessarily a good thing. That's a sign that the healing process has not proceeded the way it should. The classic example of these things are keloids. And we know keloids are associated with fat deficiencies, particularly in vitamin A, essential fatty acids, and vitamin D. So fibrosis, scar tissue, these are associated with chronic injury in conjunction with nutritional deficiency and probably toxicity as well.
I remember when I got my face repaired, the doctors shot steroids into the area where they cut because they didn't want me to develop keloids.
That could very well be. That's and how does that work? Anti-inflammatory. Keloids are associated with inflammation at the level of the injury. So what they want to do is they want to prevent a keloid. And keloids are a sign of hyperanabolism, hyperbuilding. Anabolism is not supposed to just happen willy-nilly. It's supposed to happen in a very controlled fashion. So building sounds all well and good, but you don't want to build too fast. That's where keloids come from. That's where scars come from. Is an out-of-control building process.
So a gentleman named Patrick, and I'm hoping it's not my Patrick, is asking, is there a natural way to build bone density? The alendronate is not working for me after 2 years of taking it.
That's one of those. Not only is the most hideous drugs in the pharmacopoeia, it's one of the dumbest drugs in the pharmacopoeia. And again, I don't like talking behind, I say this all the time, I don't like talking behind doctors' backs, but I would love to talk to a doctor and say, how can they possibly prescribe these old, they call them bisphosphonates, which are hideous drugs. And when somebody is degenerating, MBFA, right? Alendronate and these bisphosphonate drugs, Boniva and Fosamax and such, what they're doing, the stupidity of it is just so mind-boggling to me. The body is in this balance of breaking down and building up. They call it remodeling. This happens all the time. Old tissue is being broken down. New tissue is being built up. This is a good thing, right? It's how you have a constant supply of fresh tissue. You know, and the Bible says you can't put new wine in old vessels, right? You always want to have fresh, new, healthy tissue. So in order to accomplish this fresh, new, healthy tissue supply, the old tissue has to be broken down. Make sense? Out with the old, in with the new. The king is dead, long live the king. So like it's a model, it's a metaphor. It's an archetype. Out with the old, in with the new. So what aldondronate and these bisphosphonate drugs do is they stop the breakdown process. So you end up with a bunch of old bone. You follow? This is nonsense. This is idiocy. The question is why is the body breaking down? Why are the bones breaking down? And they make it like a disease. It's not a disease, unless you want to call it MBFA disease. It's the body deteriorating. So then why does the body deteriorate? What is the reason for the body deteriorating? Inflammation, toxicity, malnutrition, hypoxia, everything we talk about. You don't need aldondronate. I'm not surprised it's not working, because this is a person probably who's inflamed, who's probably dysglycemic, probably dysbiosis. I don't know. Is the person on? Let's talk to the person.
No, these are all questions.
I see. So what we have to understand is our deterioration, our degeneration, our breakdown, they're not medical. They're not medical. They're not medical. You see what I'm saying? When the body breaks down, it's not medical. Medical is when you break your leg, or you get hit by a car, or a rock falls on your head. That's medical. When the body just deteriorates following toxicity and inflammation and hypoxia and dysbiosis, dysglycemia, metabolic syndrome, all the lifestyle things, that's not medical. But if we go to a doctor, we're going to get medicalized. And so that's what happens.
It's not medical. What do you call it?
Doctored. What's that?
If it's not medical, are you calling it chemical? What are you calling it?
Degenerative. It's degenerative. The body regenerates. It's normal. That's its normal course of events. Is you break something, it regenerates. You tear something, it regenerates. You disturb something, it regenerates. This is the body's nature, is to regenerate. It's in its nature. All of life regenerates. You cut a leaf, it grows back. This is the nature of life, is to regenerate. However, with age and with the accumulation of toxicity and inflammation and hypoxia and all the things we talk about, dysbiosis, dysglycemia, instead of regenerating, we degenerate. You see what I'm saying? Something interferes with the normal regenerative process, which is normal. Something has to get in the way. And what gets in the way is malnutrition. We don't have enough nutrients to drive the process. Toxicity. Toxins disturb the biochemistry. Messed up digestion, where we don't absorb nutrients, or toxicity against it through leaky gut. Dysglycemia. Sugar acts like a toxin, or there's disturbances in insulin. It's all our lifestyle. And think about it. Look at the way we live our lives. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else. I'm not better than anybody. And I hope nobody ever hears me being preachy or kind of nagging at anybody, because I'm just as bad. It's the lifestyle we live. So of course there's going to be things interfering. And then we say, well, I'm going to go to the doctor. What's the doctor going to do? He's going to give you aldondronate. He's going to give you a drug. He's not going to help the problem. They can't. And it's not because they're bad or evil or dumb or in any way malicious. They're not. They're beautiful, beautiful people. The medical world, I don't know if you've ever been to an emergency room, but man, they're like saints. They're angels in the hospital. They're the most beautiful people. What they do is so godly, so divine. It's just a beautiful thing. So I don't want to knock on the individuals. It's the paradigm. It's the model that's problematic. And we participate in it. Look, this person's going to get a bisphosphonate drug when they have a degenerative condition. I don't know this person, but I guarantee you he or she's got dysbiosis and is dysglycemic. Guaranteed. I'll bet my house on it. Bet my house on it.
I'm sure you're right. And how would he repair himself or do better than using that drug?
All of it. Everything we talk about. Work on the gut. Do your food diary. Get on Critical Health News. do a food, or I'm sorry, on Pharmacist Ben's Academy or Critical.
Critical News too.
Or get a food diary, eat less food. Here you go. Here's 4 things you could do. Number 1, eat less food. Or number 1, get on a supplement program. Get on the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. Number 1. Number 2, eat less food. Number 3, improve circulation, blood circulation. Number 4, activate the vagus nerve. If you want to do something else, do some resistance training. That's what you do. The bones are piezoelectric. By the way, what are bones made of?
Minerals.
No. There's minerals there.
Connective tissue.
Bingo. Connective tissue. Build the connective tissue. Get on the pig pack. Get on the the cartilage. Vitamin C, healthy bone and joint pack, more protein. The bones are piezoelectric. You know, when people go into space, astronauts go into space, when they came back, this is, 30, 40 years ago, maybe more, maybe 50, 60 years ago with Apollo. Remember Apollo back when we were kids? Apollo 11 and Apollo 10. Remember Apollo? Right? Remember that? They used to watch it a lot. So when they came back from space, they would be osteoporotic. They would have osteoporosis. So then they started exercising. They gave them trampolines and bicycles. Now they ride a bike out there. Why is it that they would come back osteoporotic from outer space?
There's no pressure.
There's no gravity. Exactly. There's no gravity. So there's no pressure. So what does that tell you? Pressure. Piezoelectric means pressure electric. You generate electrical charges by putting pressure on the bone. So how do you put pressure on the bone? Exercise, run, walk. Osteoporosis is a sign that the bones aren't getting they're not getting piezoelectricity. So drive the production of electrical energy. That's how you grow collagen. That's how you grow connective tissue in general. You do for your skin. In my skincare products, I use piezoelectrical ingredients. Not piezoelectrical, but electrical ingredients that support the electrical energy of the cells. So we talk about chemistry all the time because nutrition is chemistry, but chemistry only works because of electricity. Electricity is physics. Chemistry is nutrients are chemistry. Electricity is physics. We're physics first. Chemistry only works because of physics. Physics is a little hard to imagine, to comprehend, especially quantum physics, but that's what it's really all about. Yeah, for some.
I can't. Chemistry's tough for me. Physics is.
You like physics, but is it quantum physics you like, or theoretical physics? Or is it thermodynamics, mechanical? There's mechanical. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Mechanical.
Yeah. I don't have a really good understanding of the mechanical side of things, but the quantum side I love. The electrical side of things. Like that fascinates me, and that's how a really good chemist is going to understand physics. If you want to be a really good chemist, you got to understand physics. There's a lot of people who talk about chemistry because they read stuff on the internet, or they read books, or they heard other people talk and they're repeating. But if you understand physics, you can be an awesome chemist, because then you can really start to work chemistry. If you can understand the quantum nature of chemistry, they call that redox. Have you heard the term redox? Reduction oxidation. That's what they call redox. And so everything's really physics. Electricity. We're electricity first. Electricity is really amazing. When you think about electricity, that's some amazing stuff. In fact, I don't want to get too wonky here, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Go ahead.
One of the ways that life in the Bible, it says, and the Bible is really cool. The Bible's talking about physics. In the beginning of the Bible, it talks about how God separated the heavens from the earth, right? That's what, and like the second day or the first day, he separated things. What they're really talking about is something called charge separation. When you have something that's together like this, there's no movement there's no electricity. But if you can spread out single compounds, you get a positive charge and negative charge. That's called charge separation. You get flow. That's how life began, is with charge separation. And that's why minerals are so important, and clays are so important, and that's how ionic minerals work. The minerals get separated out in the clays, and you get electrical charges, and then water is attracted, and that's how life began.
Doesn't it say separate the waters from the water?
No, the water's attracted to the electrical charges.
In the Bible, I was referring to.
In the Bible, it talks to how it's separated. Yeah.
Separate the waters from the waters.
He separated what? The firmament from the waters or something, right?
Well, I don't think he...
Something like, I forgot how they said it, but they talk about separation.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about separation. That separation is how you get current. You can't get a current if everything's together.
I'm sure one of
Bacteria, that's why bacteria are so important, or they call them lithotropes, stone eaters. These lithotropes eat the rock and they separate out the atoms to create electrical charges. That's how life began. That's how ionic plant-derived minerals began.
Can you take too much I-26?
I suppose you can take too much of anything, but there's no real toxicity associated with it.
No toxicity, but diarrhea, possibly.
Maybe if you took too much. You have to take a lot, though.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that can reverse alpha gal?
Alpha gal is really interesting. That's like a meat allergy. Have you heard of this? Meat allergy that's passed on by ticks. I'm not really sure about alpha gal. I don't know enough about alpha gal, but I know it's kind of interesting. It's a meat allergy, and there's like a lot of conspiracy theories associated with it. Have you heard of like these conspiracy theories that are like people, the powers that be don't want people eating a lot of meat. They want to reduce meat consumption. So alpha gal is kind of this. Usually meat's not, people aren't allergic to meat, but alpha gal syndrome, you become allergic to meat, and apparently it's passed on by ticks. So I don't know of anything that reverses it. No, to answer that question, but it's an interesting thing.
Have you ever eaten a grasshopper?
I've eaten crickets.
You have eaten cricket?
I have eaten crickets. They're crunchy, and they're disgusting. They're kind of fatty. I went to this food show, and they had a whole bunch of crickets, dead crickets, in this in this fish tank, and they handed out crickets. Yes, I've eaten crickets.
Have one.
What's that?
Have one.
Yeah, they were handing them out. People eat locusts. When there's locusts, can you imagine a locust? Have you ever seen pictures of locust epidemics, like swarms of locusts?
I've read about them in the Bible, right?
They're in the Bible, yeah, but there's pictures of them, like they happen. Can you imagine these grass? You know what a locust is? It's like a super grasshopper. It's like a grasshopper that's from some genetic anomaly. It's grown to be super big. Grasshoppers are disgusting anyway, but can you imagine like a super grasshopper? Swarms of them. And so, and that happens in Africa. As if Africa, they don't have enough stuff going on in Africa. They got these swarms of locusts. They'll actually catch them and eat them. It's good protein. Omega-3 fats. They're loaded with omega-3s.
Now you sound like Bill Gates.
Yeah, eat locusts.
Eat locusts. Okay. If you take nothing away, so I hear you say fix the gut. This is Joan's question. I hear you say fix the gut. I don't know how to do that.
Okay, that's great. That's a great question. Excellent question. Here's what you do. First of all, you stop putting things in the gut, which means fasting. That's the first thing you do. You hit the reset button. You stop eating. Then when you do eat, you pay very close attention to what you eat. You do a food diary. And then you're going to start to eliminate foods. And then the third element for fixing the gut is you improve the health of the microbiome, bacteria. And you do that with things like fiber, prebiotics in general. What else? That's interesting. Taking probiotic supplements.
Enzymes?
They're not necessarily going to help directly, but yes, enzymes can be important. And then you strengthen the intestinal lining with collagen building supplements and mucus secreting supplements like hyaluronic acid and FucoidZ. So there's a lot of different strategies you could use. I don't know if we have anything on Root Not Fruit, but on the mineralway.com, there's a digestive support pack. Longevity they should have one.
We have a digestion pack. And what is that? What is, Becca, Ruth Allen, what is the one product that is added into the digestion pack for the reason that there's a substance in... what's the product name, please, one of you ladies? In the digestion pack. So it's the base pack with another product in here. And
it has the Flora-FX and the Ultimate enzymes added to it.
Okay, in the Flora-FX, what is that substance that's in there that was gut healing that the people had mentioned?
Glutamine?
I have to look it up real quick.
I think you had a client that said he swears by the Flora-FX for one reason.
Glutamine, I forgot to mention, glutamine is very important for the intestine. So is vitamin A, is very important for the intestine.
Okay. So our gut immune
Also,
repair.
let me just say one thing. I'm sorry, AJ. Soups, especially bone soup and chicken soup, are also good for the gut, the intestine.
So on Root Not Fruit, our gut repair protocol has the I-26 Nightly Essence, Ultimate Enzymes, and ZRadical.
So the Flora FX has GDL, gluconodelta-lactone,
That's important for the microbiome too. I forgot about that.
and then a bunch of 4 billion CFU of probiotic blend.
Yeah. Yeah, the GDL is really good. I forgot to mention that.
Thank you, Ruth Ellen. How is it that I-26 aids in athletic performance? I feel like in conjunction with the glucogels, it's helped with my rollerblading flexibility. But
Could
not
be. Could be. Yeah, could be. You're improving gut health. How does I-26 work? Well, it kills bad bacteria. You have bacteria that live in the small intestine and the large intestine, mostly the large intestine. As we get unhealthy, as the impact of poor food choices and nutritional deficiencies kick in, eventually bacteria overgrow in the small intestine. That's called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO. Bacteria make all kinds of molecules that can inflame the gut, particularly histamine, but other things too. Once the gut becomes inflamed, you're off to the disease races. By killing off those excess bacteria, you can protect the intestinal lining from all that stuff that the bacteria are producing. So it's anti-leaky gut and it's anti-SIBO. Now, if you go to a doctor these days, especially a naturopath, they're going to give you essential oils. Sometimes they'll even give you antibiotics to kill excess bacteria. I-26 does it without killing off the good bacteria, and it's completely non-toxic. But as you say, we said earlier, you can take too much, conceivably, in which case, you probably end up with cramping or bloating or diarrhea, but it would be hard to do. So it makes sense, not that the I-26 is improving athletic performance, but the I-26 is improving digestive health, which is then improving nutrient absorption, which is then improving athletic performance. But it's not like directly improving athletic performance. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, so Bruce is mentioning that he is limiting his calories based on a belief in what you said: the less you eat, the longer you live. If I'm only eating 1,500 calories a day, along with 90, won't that make me too skinny?
You want to be muscle. You want to have muscle mass. 1,500 calories a day, well, you'll eliminate fat, you'll lean up. It's not like you'll be skinny. If you're not working out, if you're not doing resistance training, if you're not exercising and not building muscle, you might be skinny. But really, you don't want to look at it like skinny versus fat. You want to look at it like lean muscle mass versus flab. You know what I'm saying? When you restrict your calories, you're going to lose the flab. If you're working out, you'll be muscly. That's what you're looking for. You want lean muscle mass. Lean means no fat. Muscle means muscle, and mass means size. So you were looking for lean muscle mass. That's what you want. And calorie restriction will improve lean muscle mass if you're doing resistance training and you're doing your micronutrients.
Okay. Joey says, I've been trying to heal a hypertrophic scar. I've increased my flaxseed. Is there anything I can help?
It's all great, but we just talked about that. A scar, hypertrophic means it's growing too much. It's like a keloid. It grows too much. Hypertrophic means hypergrowth. Trophic means growth. But a scar is permanent by definition. You don't heal a scar. Does that make sense, AJ? Tell me if that makes sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
You can break up the scar like you were saying this lady does, maybe break up the scar and then new tissue will replace it, but you can't heal a scar. By definition, a scar is permanent. That's the definition of a scar.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Somebody comes to you with a facial scar. There's nothing you do for them?
No. You can improve the appearance, or you can use a laser, depending on how deep it is. Most scars are in the dermis, the lower part of the skin. You can burn it off, like that lady was saying, and then with a laser, and then the scar will theoretically, if you're healthy and you supplement and do everything right, the tissue will heal back without a scar. Theoretically, but you have to make sure there's no inflammation. You're taking care of your nutritional needs. The biochemistry is operating pristinely after you burn the scar. But that's along the same lines as that lady was doing. She's doing it in the lungs, you were saying. It's the same idea. But once the scar is there, you can improve the appearance. There's a lot of things you can do to improve the appearance, make it look better, make it look less dramatic. Retinol, topical vitamin C, skin peels. These are all strategies for improving the appearance of a scar. But the tissue itself, that is basically excess collagen, a kind of different type of collagen, really, and excess, that is not, you're not going to disappear that unless you burn it off with a laser and then do everything right so it comes back.
Très intéressant. Pharmacist Ben, I got tons more questions, but I'm only going to ask one.
One more, and then have everybody go to Pharmacist Ben's Academy. We really can answer questions.
Yeah, folks, you should go to Pharmacist Ben's Academy, and you get the deep dive. You can look around and get information on your own and be your own health authority, because everything is provided for you there. Ben, how many shows you do today?
Just 2. I did one before this. I do a lot. I'm doing a lot of shows.
Okay, and just to bring it back full circle,
yes.
What makes collagen effective and what makes it not work?
You mean the supplement?
Collagen itself, yeah.
Collagen in your body or the collagen powder?
Collagen, the supplement. By the way, just backtrack. That gentleman who asked the last question is clearly not using longevity products. Give us a call at 855-949-3377, and we will help you the best way we can. I didn't hear Pharmacist Ben mention that you should be on a 90, but you should be on a 90. And a link to Pharmacist Ben's Academy is on the screen, pharmacistbensacademy.com on the top right. Maybe I should show it. So we're going to just take a look here. And this is Pharmacist Ben's Academy. If I can get here, AJ is going to share his screen. And we're going to share this. So if you folks see, this is the Pharmacist Ben's Academy website. And we scroll down here, and we can see different, the 3 things that happen with the cell: starvation, suffocation, intoxication.
Yeah.
And we keep scrolling down. We see the inverted triangle of disease, the digestive system being the first point, or a point. Let's see here. Let me go back to that. The gut is there, and then we have sugar, the blood sugar system, and then we have the stress system, the adrenal thyroid complex, and this is all. I mean, you could really do a number for yourself by just looking at this website, the Triangle of Disease website, dailywithdocteam.com website. But then you can come to the school. You can click the button and then go to the school, and you'll be right here in Pharmacist Ben's Academy. And you can come in the classroom, and you see all the modules that are talking about your body and how it works, etc. And
even if you don't want to be, even like we should tell people, you don't have to be a healthcare professional, or you don't have to be like what do they call them, a CWH, what is a CWH certified holistic health coach. Even if you just you're curious about nutrition and health, you want to help your family, you want to help yourself, it's a valuable asset. You can learn a lot. Did AJ freeze?
I guess I did freeze. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. It's just, you don't have to be like a healthcare professional or even a distributor. It's great for distributors. In fact, if you're a distributor for longevity, you need to be on Pharmacist Ben's Academy. You're going to learn a lot of stuff that will, number one, keep you from talking BS, and number two, will help you help other people and help you sell products.
Well, I think if you have people, if you have a body and you breathe and you have people you love, you should be on Pharmacist Ben's Academy,
Yes, I
because
agree.
there's a lot of misinformation. I don't really like that word misinformation, because you know there are I go on Reddit and they have like diabetes groups and different groups.
Oh, there's
I'm
some
banned.
really,
I'm
yeah.
banned from talking there
I bet
because
you
I'm not
are.
talking the party line.
I bet you are, because you're not talking the party line. I read there's this there was these guys. Did you hear? I don't want to get into politics or anything, but that little doctor, I don't want to mention his name, who was on
Who took
there
the
was a
fifth?
yeah, he took the fifth 100 times. That's a despicable human being, that guy. And then I was reading, I saw a YouTube video where they were like criticizing him easily. It's very easy to criticize him. But then there were all these comments. I didn't know you were a conspiracy theorist, and who told you you don't know anything about science and this and that. And they were all attacking the YouTube video creators, who were just kind of pointing out, what's this little reptile guy talking about taking the fifth 100 times on the advice of counsel, blah, blah, blah. And that one guy, Senator Moreno, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, I'm not political, but man, I love listening to him. You know what I'm talking about? Senator Moreno? He goes,
Mhm.
who the F do you think you are? And then he goes to the audience. He says, how many of you in the audience were affected by the ridiculous protocols, lost your jobs, and had your business shut down, this, that? And everybody stands up. And then the senator goes, will you turn around and look at those people? And he goes, on the advice of counsel, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to get political, but I'll tell you what, I knew that was a bull BS from day one. That was
We all
BS.
did. There's a basketball player named Kyrie Irving,
Yeah, yeah.
and he got railed.
Yeah, because he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to participate.
He didn't want to participate, and he lost millions upon. I think it was like 11 million bucks.
Is he still playing?
He's still playing.
Yeah.
He lost like
He
because
lost his endorsements. Yeah, he lost endorsements.
he lost his endorsements because he's running his mouth about something else. But but um but he lost like 11 million bucks in salary because he didn't participate. He
Yeah.
couldn't play in New York, but he could play on the road. Couldn't
Is that right?
maybe
Because in New
yeah,
York, yeah.
he could play on the road, but he couldn't play in New York, and maybe couldn't play in California or something like that.
All right.
But there's a guy, Stephen A. Smith,
Yeah, I know
who
Stephen A. Yeah.
who was
He would ripped him.
railing him at the time.
Ripped him. Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith just came out and apologized to him.
Did he really? Oh,
How
that's
many
interesting.
years later?
I know. How many people lost their jobs, couldn't see their loved one. The worst is when you couldn't see your loved one. And if you couldn't go into the room because they died without you. You couldn't say goodbye to your parents or something because you weren't allowed in the room because of the. It was just ridiculous.
I had a friend, older lady, by a few years from me, and good friend, really good friend, and her kids would not let her see her grandkids unless she got the shot.
Yeah.
Now she has no memory. She was vibrant, doing fine, doing great. Now she's got no memory.
Right.
She's MBFA city, and it's
Right.
just like,
Right.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into politics, but when I saw Marino ripping that guy, I was like, "You go, man! And he couldn't even the guy couldn't even answer questions on that vice counsel, blah blah blah. That guy's a despicable human. Anyway, I don't want to get into politics. Well, this is the good news. We're here for the good news.
Well, we talked about alpha gal earlier. Is this the same?
I don't know of anything that reverses it. It's a tick bite, as far as I know, and I don't know a lot about it. Full disclosure, but as far as I know, it's a tick bite, and it results in a meat allergy, which is it's almost impossible. I've never heard of a meat. Most meat is, it's a very strange phenomenon. Meat allergies. Appears to be censored. Yeah, nicotine. Dr. Artis is good. He's a good guy, Dr. Artis. I've been on a couple shows with him, and he's been talking about nicotine for a while. And you know what? They considered him to be, not they, but the mainstream considered him to be crazy. But more and more, we're learning about nicotine and its value. I know. Well, I've been on shows with him. Can't say I've ever met him, but I've been on show. I've been on. I was on a Mike Adams a couple times with him, so I know of him and I've talked to him. But I can't. I've never met him in person.
Well, you gotta call him because he's got a big following. We need to get some
Yeah,
of
I'll
his
call him. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't have his number, but I'll email him.
yeah.
He's a good guy. He's a really good guy and smart,
Is it-
super smart.
is he? Was he
Yeah.
was he ever using our products or?
I don't think he knows much about longevity, but I will reach out to him now that you mention it. I can't say I'm like really best friends with him, but I have talked to him and I was on a couple shows with him. He's a very impressive guy, super impressive.
Not I can't remember. Okay. Keely says artist is a fractionator, and he
What is
uses
that? Oh, he fractionates like individual supplements or something?
yeah, and he has his own
Maybe. Yeah,
stuff.
maybe. Yeah, he's not necessarily a nutritionist, but he's super, super smart, really good guy, dedicated to helping people, and I consider myself a fan.
Hmm. Um, who was that guy that you mentioned that was it not Chevy Chase, but you had mentioned there was somebody that you'd met somewhere, and it was a good character guy,
What?
and
Bill Murray?
you met Bill Murray too.
I hung out with Bill Murray.
Was it Bill Murray? No, was it Bill Murray you were talking about?
I don't know, but I hung out. He's a pretty interesting guy, Bill Murray.
It was somebody I think was taller though. For whatever reason, I can't remember who it was, but we were talking about it on the show once. Um, at any rate, Pharmacist
Anyway,
Ben, I appreciate your
thank you,
time, and everybody appreciates you and Ruth
thank you.
Ellen and Becca and Mary and Keely, who are all
I
about to
appreciate
start.
everybody. Becca, you're awesome. Mary, Keely, you're all awesome.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for all
Mary,
everything you're
Keely.
doing. Where's Keely? Put Keely on. I
Keely's
think I
right
saw her
here.
briefly.
There you go. There you go.
Where's Keely?
We got the ladies behind the scenes
All right,
running the
ladies.
show, keeping us on track.
Thank you,
Any
everybody.
any parting words, Pharmacist Ben? Are you on Coast to Coast tomorrow?
Coast to coast tomorrow. Hope we see you. Hope you're all on there. Call up. It's hard to get through, I guess, but anyway, listen to me on Coast to Coast.
If you call
And
early,
thank you to our list of Ruth Ellen, Rebecca, Mary, Keely. Who's that? Did I miss anybody?
no, that is our crew for tonight, and we
Becca got a
appreciate
new haircut. Becca, you got a new do. Look cute. Is that new do?
Becca always does look cute. That is
Becca's
a
looking
fact.
cute. Becca's
That
looking
is
cute.
a fact. All right,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Bye,
Have a good
everybody.
one.
Walk into any modern hospital and you're entering a system built on categorization. The International Classification of Diseases, or ICD Codebook, currently catalogs over 55,000 distinct diseases and symptoms, each assigned to highly compartmentalized specialists. We engineered a model treating organs in isolation. Focusing on downstream symptoms, specialists overlook biological drivers in the trunk. Tracking 55,000 outcomes to the cellular level, markers converge. These diverse diagnoses are manifestations of 3 failure nodes: digestion, blood sugar, and adrenals. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs identifies this systemic breakdown as MBFA, my body is falling apart disease. It is a unifying concept that describes a state where multiple systems fail simultaneously because the cellular environment has shifted. Under this model, chronic illness represents the logical result of a cell starved of nutrients, suffocated by lack of oxygen, and saturated with toxins. The triangle of disease framework acknowledges that while symptoms are unique, the body breaks down in generic, predictable ways. The first node is the digestive system. This functions as the body's soil, the primary entry point where the outside world meets the internal bloodstream. The second node is the blood sugar system. This metabolic engine determines how every cell in the body receives and processes fuel. Finally, the adrenal-thyroid complex serves as the energy and stress regulation hub. When the first 2 nodes fail, this system bears the load, acting as the jumping-off point for overt degenerative disease. Reversing these conditions requires shifting focus from symptom management to mastering the biochemical pipeline, the gut, the blood, and the liver. The intestinal lining acts as a highly selective border. In a healthy state, it keeps environmental toxins out while absorbing microscopic nutrients. Modern inflammatory diets destroy the tight junctions of this barrier. This structural collapse creates leaky gut, opening the gates to the bloodstream. Highly inflammatory invaders breach the wall. Lipopolysaccharides, endotoxins, and undigested proteins flood directly into the red bloodstream. This breach is accelerated by dysglycemia. Elevated blood sugar triggers glycation, a process where sugar acts as a caustic agent, caramelizing and burning the microscopic blood vessels from the inside. The combination of a compromised gut and caustic blood sugar creates a daily stream of toxicity flowing directly into the body's primary transport system. When these foreign particles enter the blood, the body mounts an immediate defense to isolate them. This creates a condition Ben Fuchs calls dirty blood. To protect vital organs, white blood cells aggressively swarm and clump around this toxic debris. These resulting clusters are circulating immune complexes, or CICs. As they accumulate, the blood becomes thick, viscous, and hypercoagulable. Sludgy, dirty blood cannot navigate the microscopic capillaries that feed your cells. This results in systemic suffocation, as peripheral tissues are deprived of oxygen and nutrients. In a desperate triage move to protect the heart and brain, the body dumps these toxic complexes into the peripheral connective tissues, such as the joints and the skin. This reveals the autoimmune illusion. In conditions like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus, the immune system is mounting a logical defense against tissues that have become toxic dumping grounds. While the body is 2/3 water, it maintains rigid structure and doesn't slosh like a puddle. Our internal water exists in a coherent gel state, organized into a crystalline lattice by collagen and ionic minerals. This zeta potential matrix allows instantaneous cellular communication. But when dirty blood dumps acidic toxins here, the charge neutralizes and the matrix collapses into disorganized fluid. The physical experience of chronic pain and blobification is the literal loss of electrical coherence in the cellular matrix. The liver is the primary organ tasked with clearing this systemic debris, but clinical detoxification is a rigid two-phase biochemical sequence. In phase 1 enzymatic induction, liver enzymes oxidize toxins, creating intermediate metabolites temporarily more toxic than the originals. Phase 2 conjugation requires sulfur and amino acids to neutralize them. If depleted, the bottleneck forces dangerous metabolites back into the bloodstream, triggering severe systemic distress. Inducing phase 1 via crash diets without providing phase 2 substrates creates an internal chemical fire. This explains why many patients feel a worsening of symptoms when they attempt to heal without a biochemical strategy. A broken internal environment cannot be rebuilt with symptom suppressors. The reversal protocol begins with physiological triage. The first step in healing is stopping the intake of toxins. This is achieved through a 24 to 48-hour water fast. Fasting removes the massive energetic burden of digestion. This energy is redirected to cellular cleanup, immune resetting, and the repair of the intestinal barrier. However, chronic stress keeps the body locked in a sympathetic fight-or-flight state. When the body perceives danger, it shuts down all digestive and healing pathways to focus on survival. You must mechanically shift the nervous system into a parasympathetic state. Using tools like diaphragmatic breathing and psychological grounding signals safety to the cells, allowing healing to resume. You cannot out-supplement a chronic state of panic. Strict elimination of dietary triggers and the establishment of physiological safety are the prerequisites for systemic repair. Once toxicity is stopped, the body requires cellular saturation. The human body needs 90 essential nutrients daily to fuel the billions of chemical reactions occurring every second. Plant-derived colloidal minerals act natural chelating agents. They pull toxins from the blood and help restore the electrical zeta potential of the gel matrix. Structural repair involves physically patching the intestinal barrier. This requires connective tissue builders like collagen peptides, vitamin C, and brown algae extracts like FucoidZ. To resolve the liver bottleneck, you must provide sulfur, selenium, and amino acids. This ensures phase 2 detoxification can neutralize reactive waste into water-soluble excretions. When the body is finally given the correct raw materials, the structural matrix begins smoothly knitting back together. The body adapts its internal chemistry to the raw materials provided. By transitioning from battling symptoms to engineering a pristine biochemical environment, rapid and systemic healing is the logical outcome.